Hi guys, today I will be showing you a step-by-step tutorial on how I made this Japanese base behind me. This is all on standard PAL settings and no mods so that you guys can follow along, and it uses every single inch that the standard PAL box size gives you, giving you plenty of room for your structures. This will just be a tutorial of the shell of the base because if we did a tutorial including all the decorations, this video would be so much longer, but I'll show you guys along the way examples of how I decorated the base in my world. Without further ado, we'll get started and I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. So to start off our build, you're going to find a large flat open space like this. This is where I'm building my tutorial base. If you want more of a scenic view, this is where I have my main base, but for the tutorial, I'm building here just because it's nice and open and we won't have a problem building. So the first step, we're going to take the stone foundation and build it in the middle as close to the ground in this open area. And then we're going to build 4 out on both sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so this is because we're going to be making a 9x9 square for our main building. So now go back to the center and we're going to do 4 out on the other 2 sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we have 9 going up and down and 9 going left and right. So now we just have to fill out this square here. So as you can see, now we have a 9x9 square. And so this is going to serve as the basis for our main house. And our main house is 2 stories above the ground. So we're just going to go around the outline of this 9x9 square and build walls 2 stories tall. So once you have your boxed in 9x9, we're going to go back around and fill the top with a stone roof. So now that we have our boxed in 9x9, we'll go to the front and head to the middle tile. So that should be 4 from each end. And we're just going to set up our PAL box. So take your Japanese style roof A, and from the middle, we're going to go 1 tile in and we're going to build a 3x3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So for our PAL box, we'll build on the 4th black line. So this is the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. We'll take our PAL box, build it on top of the line in the middle. So now we'll work on the rest of our foundation. So we'll hop down to the right side here. And we'll just build 11 across starting from the right side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then from the left side here, we're going to build a 3x2. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then from the right side of this, we're going to build a stone foundation stopping 2 from the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so we'll build up this foundation for now. So let's wall it in. And then we'll build a stone floor on top of all of this. But for this part, we're not going to use a stone floor. We're going to use Japanese style roof A. So just make your 3x2. And then the rest we will use stone floors. And then we'll hop down from this corner here and we're going to make a stone foundation 6 long. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we'll do that one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now for this row, we're going to start with a triangle foundation. And then we're going to build 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then finally we'll come to the middle, so skip the triangle and the square here. And then here we're going to make a triangle, triangle, and a square. And then we'll go over to the left side here, take stone foundation, and build 2 here. Build a 1x1. We'll fill in the top. And then take the Japanese style stairs and connect that to the top there and fill in the sides with a triangle. And then we have another set of staircases in the middle here, so just count 2 from the left, so 1, 2. And we'll build staircases right here. 1, 2, 3. We'll go up 1 floor and match the staircases that we just made, so 1, 2, 3. And then just fill in the sides with a triangle wall. So now we'll make the foundation for our power storage room. So make a foundation on the bottom. And then we're gonna build a 2x2. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll break this foundation that we have connecting the 2 buildings. And then we'll box in this 2x2. And then on top of that, just use the Japanese style roof A to block it in. And then to connect the 2 buildings, I'm gonna use a wooden roof like that. So that is our electricity room. So now we have to build around the corner for our greenhouse. So we'll start with a triangle foundation here at the bottom, a regular foundation, and then we'll build 3. So 1, 2, 3. So this is the shape we have on the right side. And then from here, I'm gonna use the wooden foundation and we're gonna make a 5x3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then just fill that in. And then now like the other floors, we're going to build 1 story high. So just box it in. And then climb on top, and we'll fill this part in with stone. And then above the wooden foundation, we'll make some wooden floors. So next we'll go to the back, so just line yourself up with the middle and we'll hop off the back here. So lined up with the middle, we're going to build 1 stone foundation and then 3 off in both sides. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then go back to the middle and we're going to build 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to make this 2 stories tall. So build up your walls. And then we'll climb up and block this in. Right, next come to the front. We'll go on the left side, your stone foundation, and we're gonna build 4 out. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So build some walls. Climb up, block these in. And then at the end, we're gonna make a 1x1. And then connected to that 1x1, we'll build a set of stairs and then go to the side and build that triangle wall. So we'll do a quick check-in point. So this is the left side with our 3x2. This is what the shape of the front of your house should look like. We have a 9x9 with 7 and 3 at the back. Here is our 2x2 power station. And then on the right side, here is our 5x3 greenhouse. And before we move on, we'll just build the stairs to the greenhouse. So go to this corner, build a stone foundation, and then build your stairs and the triangle wall. So now we'll start building the walls for our base. So coming to our PAL box, we'll grab the Japanese passage entrance and place that right in front of our 3x3. And then we'll take the regular Japanese walls and block in this 3x3. So we're gonna decorate and stylize these walls more later. We'll skip this here. But for the purpose of getting our blueprint down, we're gonna start with plain walls so we can see where everything's gonna go. And then coming out here, we'll skip 2 tiles. So 1, 2, grab the passage entrance. And we're gonna make a 3x3 again. So I'll grab the roof and we'll block out that 3x3. 1, 2, 3. And then we'll wall it in. 2 stories tall again. We'll leave this empty for now. And then the back here, we'll use door C and put a wall on top. I'll just open that. So now we have 2 3x3s. So we'll come out in the middle between them. We're gonna skip this 3x2 area and come to the side. And we're gonna carve out our rooms that are 2 tiles long. And we're gonna follow the length of the 3x3s, but leave 1 tile at the end unchanged. So I'll show you guys what I mean. So 2 wide and 6 long, and we'll do that on the other side. So we skip 1 tile out the outside, and we'll go 6 long and 2 wide. And now we do the same thing we did with the 3x3s. We're gonna carve the walls out and make them 2 stories tall. The same on the other side. And then what we're gonna do in between these 2 stones here, we're gonna break those 2 walls. And we're gonna take Japanese style door B and put them where we just broke those 2 walls. And we'll do the same on the other side. So follow those stones, break those walls, replace them with door B, and just put the plain walls on top. And then so quick check in. We have 2 3x3s, one at the front and the back, a 3x2 space between them, and then 6x2s on both sides. So now we'll work on the second floor. So we're gonna start here on the left side. So we'll grab the Japanese wall, and then we'll build a wall right here, and we'll build a staircase on the left side, and then fill that gap in with the Japanese triangle wall, and then build a floor here connecting to the staircase. And then we'll take the Japanese style stairs and connect it here so that we can go up to the second floor. And then we'll start filling in the floor, the top floor. So I'm just gonna fill in the middle here for now, in between the 2 3x3s. And then on this side, we can fill in this room. We'll fill in this room here. And we'll fill in this room. So now for the front of the house above the PAL box, instead of filling this whole thing in, we're going to make 1 row across. And then for the back, we'll build 1 row out that way as well. So we're not filling in the whole roof just yet. And I'm just doing it this way so we have an easy outline for the walls before we fill in the roof. So we'll take the Japanese style wall A and just fill in 2 tall the floors we made all the way around. So beside the stairs, we're going to do something a little different. So we'll take the Japanese style wall and build 1 wall here beside the staircase. And then we're going to build 1 wall going in to kind of enclose a little space. And then build across here. And we're going to leave this space at the back empty, but I'll close it in for now. Just like that. So this is what the area beside your staircase will be looking like. And then on this side, on the right wall, I'm just going to build some stairs. 1 set of stairs, and we'll close that in. For the walls around the stairs, we'll take the Japanese style roof A and block that out and leave 1 gap here for the staircase. And then we'll just put a wall on the outside. this space here is actually going to be closed off, so we'll build walls going up this way so that all you see is the staircase. And then just to complete this staircase going up to the 3rd floor, I'll build 2 floors here and then 1 set of stairs right there, and then just close everything off. And so this is what our 2nd floor should be looking like so far. So next we're just gonna adjust the walls a little bit to add a balcony area. So we'll take the Japanese style door B, and then right beside the staircase we'll build 2 out that way and just use a regular wall to fill in the top and close that space in on the left side. And then we're just gonna break these walls for now. And so that'll be 1 balcony area. And then we'll do the same on the other side. So if you're using this staircase as a point of reference, or just line it up with the other side, take the Japanese style door B, build 1 out that way, and just block off both sides here. And then we'll break the wall on the other side. And so this should be the final layout for your 2nd floor. So we have a 2x2 in each corner, and then a middle area that I use as my kitchen. And then now for the 3rd floor, we're going to take the Japanese floor, build 2 out, and then we're going to build a 5x3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then ignoring the staircase, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then for this back row, we're going to do something a little bit different. So just build 3 at the back, and then instead of filling this in with a regular roof, we're going to use the triangle floor. So angle it facing the rest of the floor like that, and then just build it on the other side. And then as for the walls, we'll start at the back, so build the 3 regular walls at the back. We'll take the diagonal wall, take the regular wall, and then this part at the front here is actually going to be a balcony, so we're going to section that off and leave a space in the middle for the door B. And then as with all the other floors, we're going to make it too tall, so just add another layer of walls on top. And so this is the layout of our 3rd floor. And so this is what our house should be looking like so far. I know it can be a little confusing, and I apologize for that. Next step, we are going to work on stylizing the walls and the roof, which can be a little confusing, so I'll go as slow as possible. So hopefully it's not too complicated. So we'll start off with the entrance here. So we'll take the door A and press 4 for replacement. And on both sides of the doorway, we'll just replace the wall with the door. We'll work on the roof for this section. So we can take the triangle wall and put 1 on both ends. And then we'll take the slanted roof and just make 1 row across facing the rest of the house. And then to fill in this part, we'll take the roof B and just fill in that gap. And so already the front is looking a lot better. And so next up are the bottom walls on both sides of the entrance. So we're going to take the glass wall and we're going to replace these 2 walls at the front. Just like that. And then instead of leaving it as regular walls, I'm going to paint it. This is the hue of pink that I use, but feel free to make it any color you want. And we'll just color both sides. Just like that. And then we'll take the Japanese style pillar, put it in the corner here, take the Japanese style roof B, and place 2 connecting the pillar to the rest of the house. So take the pillar, go 2 out, put it in the corner there, and then just use the roof to connect it to the rest of the house. So now we have a little bit of a balcony looking area. Moving into the rest of the house, we're actually gonna block off the slanted roof from the inside just so it doesn't look too awkward. And might need to break the slanted roof to make the flat roofs first. So I'll just break those and rebuild the slanted roofs. And then going inside is actually make a little bit of a crisscross pattern beneath the pal box. So to do that, so we're gonna break this in the corner, and to make it a little bit easier, we're just gonna outline the 3x3 from the bottom first. So jumping down. So if you see the corner that we dropped down, we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And so we'll outline that with Japanese walls. And so to make the crisscross pattern, we're gonna make a bunch of 1x1s underneath the 3x3 we have at the top. So just make a bunch of 1x1s that are 2 walls tall so that they touch the top floor here. And then crawl up, and now you can see we have a crisscross pattern. And then for the corners, we're gonna do something a little bit different. So I'm just gonna replace this wall with a Japanese style wall. So we have a Japanese style wall going all the way down. So we're gonna take the glass roof and build a roof 1 down from our floor. I'm gonna go in paint mode, and this is the hex color that I use. I want to use a little bit of a lighter color. I'm gonna place that there, and then we'll take the glass roof again, place one that's level with the rest of the floor, and I'm gonna use the same hex color we used for the glass outside. And so now it gives this really cool effect that it's illuminated from below. So we're just gonna do that in each of the corners for this room. And so there we go. We have our floors completed for our first room. Now next step is these walls in the 2 back corners. And so what we're gonna do is we're making a diamond shape in the corner. So we're gonna take the triangle wall and press 4 for replacement, and then angle it so it's facing towards the corner like that. And we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. And so now this is the shape you have. We'll take the inverted glass triangle wall and just fill in those 2 gaps that we made. Now we're gonna do the same thing on the top except inverted, so we have a diamond. So make a glass triangle wall facing inwards, so now we have a diamond shape. We'll do the same on this side, and then fill in the gap with the inverted Japanese triangle wall. And so to color the wall, I do a little bit of a pattern. So I do dark, dark, and then I use this color to fill in the other 2 triangles. So now we have a pattern to our diamond. So we'll do the same thing on this side. So dark, dark, light, light. And so now our walls for our first room are completely done. And so now I'm just gonna run over to this back room, and we're gonna do the same thing with these walls that we did for the other room and make a diamond shape. So rotate the triangle walls going inwards, replace the other part with inverted glass triangle walls, and then we'll use the regular triangle glass walls on the top, and then use the inverted Japanese wall to fill in the gap. And then we'll paint it the same way. So dark, 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 light, 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 light. And then before I forget, we'll just fill in the rest of this roof with the regular Japanese flat roof. So since we're here, I'm gonna finish off the walls in this back room. So we'll take the Japanese style pillar, and then 1 out from the corner. We'll place 2 pillars going up, just like this. And then I'm going to take the glass passage entrance and put one on the side of each pillar. And then we'll take the regular glass wall and make a little room like that. And then finally, take the glass roof, place one in the middle like that, and take the regular glass wall and connect it to the roof. And then to paint it, I use the lighter pink that we've been using for the glass and just paint all the walls. And so this is what it looks like, and now we just have a cool glass sculpture leading to the backyard. And I use these two spaces right here in my base, and I fill it up with storage chests. So this is my storage / workspace. And then going out to the backyard through this door, I just make a little bit of a backyard entrance. So we're gonna take the door A and just rotate it so that all the walls are facing outwards, and on top I use the pyramid roof to fill in that gap. And then I just open all of these doors just like that. So now going back towards the front where we replaced those walls with glass, we're gonna customize the top walls. So we're gonna take the Japanese style door A and replace the two top walls, and I'm gonna open the inner wall just like that. And we'll do the same on the other side. So taking door A, we'll replace those walls and open the inner wall. And then for this corner facing outside, we're gonna break this wall. And we're gonna use a trick to make more of a unique window. So we're gonna take the Japanese style fence and hold Alt to lock it to the wall. And then we're gonna take the inverted triangle wall and place it on the same wall. And then I'm going to take the door A, press forward to replace, rotate that outwards, and open the door. So now we have a cool looking window in the corner here. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side in the corner. Break the wall. Build a fence. Build an inverted wall. And then take the door. Replace that triangle wall and open it. And then facing the PAL box, we're gonna go to this corner here. And we're gonna do the same thing we did in that corner on that side. We're gonna break this wall, make the fence, inverted triangle, and build the door. And then next, we're gonna take the Japanese style wall and window, and then going one up and one to the right from the windows we just made, we're gonna replace the wall. Same thing here, one up, one to the left, replace that wall. So this is what our side wall should be looking like. And then we'll do the same on this side, replace this wall, and replace this wall. On both ends of the walls beside the PAL box, I'm going to take the pillar, and we're gonna go one out from the diamond we made and build a pillar going 2 stories tall. And I'm gonna take the Japanese style wall and rotate it going inwards. So basically we're gonna make another diamond on this side and just a half wall that encloses the room more. So we'll take the inverted glass triangle wall. So it might be easier to do the trick we did earlier to make the 2 regular walls and use replacement mode. So I'll do that. We'll make the inverted glass triangle, the regular glass triangle, and the inverted Japanese triangle. And then looking at the pattern, we'll do a dark stain here and a light stain up here. And so we'll do the same thing on this side. Build 2 walls, 2 pillars, and then a Japanese wall going inwards, inverted glass triangle, regular glass triangle, and inverted Japanese wall. And then we'll do light and dark. And so we have another half wall over here. So I'm just gonna open these doors quickly on the side just to let a little bit of light in, make the place feel more airy. And so now we'll work on this 3x2 space in the middle. So to start off, I'm just gonna break these floors. And then we're gonna fill the bottom with stone foundations. And then for all the walls, we're gonna use regular stone walls. So let me just replace these. And then I'm going to paint them all black. So take black and just paint everything here. Let me fill in this wall. And so I'm gonna fill the bottom up with the cherry blossom bee tree because it's shorter than the others, so it won't poke through the floor. And then add some bamboo in the empty spots, and you can even add some greenery at the bottom if you want. And then I'm gonna add a couple lanterns throughout to give some lighting. Now that that's filled up, we'll take the regular glass floor and just fill in the top. And then we're gonna paint the glass black because when you paint glass black, it's more transparent. As you can see here, the regular glass versus black glass, you can see through a little bit better. And there we go, that's our middle area done. So now we'll move on to the second floor. So let's go upstairs. And so coming up the stairs, we'll do this wall first. So we're gonna replace the walls with Japanese style door A on the bottom. And we're gonna open the inner wall just like we did on the first floor. I'll do the same on the other side. And open the inner wall. And then we're gonna actually adjust the top walls. So we're gonna remove these 5 walls. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we'll take the Japanese style roof and then fill top in just like that. And then in this corner, we'll take the door A and just place 2 doors going outwards like that. And so we'll do the same thing on the other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we'll take the roof, 1, 2, 3, and then door A, 1, 2, just like that. So this is what that should look like so far. And then on the back wall, I'm gonna do the same thing in this corner. So delete these walls, add the 3 floors, and the 2 Japanese doors. And then if you go up the stairs, we're gonna replace this whole back wall with the Japanese style door. And then I'm just gonna open this door so we can hop out to the back. And we're actually on this side here. If you're facing the house on the right side, we're gonna delete these walls. Just like that. And then now for the roof here, I'm going to, in the middle, make a door A. I'm gonna put a triangle wall facing it on both sides and a slanted roof on both of those triangle walls. And then on top of it, I'm gonna use the roof B and fill in that gap in the middle. And then on the 2 sides here, I'm going to take door A, replace those 2 walls on both sides. And then we'll hop up, take roof B. I'm gonna face it going this way towards us and just continue all around the side of the house. Break this wall, break those floors. So you have 1 roof on the side going all the way to the front. And then we're gonna break this floor as well and build another roof. And then we'll go back to the back and do the same thing on the other side. So we'll break this wall, add roof B, break these floors, and make a roof going all the way to the front from the side of the house. And so now this is what that should look like. We have our roofs going all the way to the side from the back. And then going back into the second floor, I'm going to close this part off. So I'll build a regular wall here and an inverted wall there just to close the stairs off. And so now going up to the second floor, or the third floor, sorry, the very top floor. We'll work on this next. So to start off, I'll just open this door. And then on both sides, we're going to place the regular window on both sides of the door. And then on top of the door, I'm going to put a door B. And then for the two sides of the door on top, we're going to do the fence trick. So build a Japanese style fence. Real quick, just to make it easier, I'm just going to place a floor covering our bedroom just to make everything a little bit easier. Okay, so going back here, place the inverted triangle and then the door A, and just make sure to open the door. And then at the back here, we're gonna do the same thing. So fence, inverted triangle, and door A. And then do the same thing on this wall, fence, triangle, door A. And then we're actually going to lower the wall a little bit at the back. So place some floors here, as well as the triangle floor. And then on the sides, we're gonna get rid of these floors and these three walls. Same thing on this side, these floors and these three walls. And then so now we're gonna take the triangle wall, put one on each side of the front side wall, and then take the Japanese style slanted roof and place them on those missing walls on both sides. And so now we fill in this floor that we made. So I'll just do a triangle on both sides. And then in the middle, we're going to put a regular wall. And we're actually going to jump up here and delete this set of walls and this set of roofs. We're going to place our fences here and use the window trick. So inverted triangles and then door A. And then just jump up and open those walls. And on the sides, we're going to place the bottom wall with door A on both sides and just open all of those doors. So now we have a lot of lights in our bedroom floor. So this is an example of how I decorate my bedroom, but you can do it any way you want. And so now coming to the balcony, we'll work on the roof. So take the Japanese style pillar, and then instead of putting it on the corner, we're gonna put it one tile inwards on both sides. So right here. And then we'll add the fence around the balcony. So this is the fence I use. You can use the regular Japanese fence, but I like the look of this one more. And we can paint it using this hex color to match the color of the Japanese wood better. So I'll use that. And you can see it matches a lot better. And then now we'll take the Japanese flat roof and just build it on top of the pillars connecting the two. And then we'll take the triangle roof and put one on both ends just like that. Perfect. And now we'll jump up and we'll take the slanted roof And then we're on these square tiles, we're gonna build 3 going inwards. Just like that. And then on the corners, we're gonna take the inverted slanted corner roof. And then on both sides, we're gonna connect it to the slanted roof from earlier and build this shape that gives the building a lot of character and looks really cool. And to fill in this gap, I'm gonna take this triangle roof and just slant it inwards. You can also do it the other way if you want more of a pointier look with your roofs, but I like the look of it facing inwards. Just like that. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. So the inverted roof and then the regular triangle roof going inwards. And then hopping to the back, we'll do the same thing at the back. So we'll take the slanted roof, and on each square we place one going inwards, and then in the corner we'll use the inverted roof, 2 on each side, and then the regular triangle roof to fill in the gap. And then now we'll work on the final tier of our roof. So to do that, we'll go to the very top here. We'll take the Japanese triangle wall and place one at the front and the back going inwards. And then we'll take the regular wall and connect those 2 triangles on both sides. Now we'll take the Japanese style slanted roof, place 2 on both sides beside the triangle walls. And then hopping up, we'll fill this gap with the Japanese floor. And then we'll make a 2x1 with the Japanese style door A. So just fill that. And then fill the top with roof B. So this is what our roof should be looking like. This part is a little complicated, but hopefully you guys were able to follow. But that is a 360 of our roof. So now we're gonna hop to the back of the base to finish this roof right here. Just gonna break these floors. Instead of regular flat walls, we're gonna use Japanese style roof B. And so with that, the roofs and walls for our main base should be done. Just fill the rest up with greenery, with trees, with vines to give it a little bit of a better look. As a last little step, we'll go into the second floor and we're gonna place on the balcony, we're gonna place a Japanese style pillar in the middle and 2 wooden fences on both sides. And then just go in paint mode and use the same hex color we used for the top balcony. So a Japanese pillar. And then a fence on both sides. And so that's what that should look like. So here is the side of our house. Here is the front of our house. And here is the back of our house. And so next up, we'll work on the outside of our house. So this being the front of our house, we're gonna work our way to this back corner right here. So to this corner, I'm going to take the Japanese style door A and build a 1x1 here. And we'll open all of these doors. And then we're gonna build another 1x1 on top. We'll leave those doors closed. And I'm gonna take the pyramid roof and fill in the top. And so that's what we end up getting. And I'm gonna do the same to this side. So this corner we'll make a 1x1 with door A. And make it 2 stories tall. Open the bottom doors. And then we'll add a pyramid roof to the very top. And so we end up getting this structure. And so now next step, let's go to the front just so we can get a good point of reference. And we're going to take the Japanese style pillar, and from this pillar, place one right here. And then I'll also place one on both sides of these stairs. And then I'll take Japanese style roof B. I'll rotate it this way, and then we're just gonna make a roofed in walkway going from the front to the back of the house. And then I'm just gonna go to the other side. We'll do the same thing here. So Japanese style pillar, roof B, and just build that going all the way to the back. Just like that. And then we can add some pillars beside the doors here. And then because this looks a little dangerous, we're gonna go around and add fences all the way around our second floor here. And then you can skip this part here because this is going to be a wall for our greenhouse. And so we'll put a fence here. And then we'll add some fences at the back as well. And now you can just go around if you want, color the fences that we've been using for the other fences for the balcony in our base. And so next up, we'll go to the front of the house. We'll do our breeding farm. So I'm going to take the door A, and we're just going to fill in the bottom here. And then now we'll take the style roof A, and we're going to build 2 floors on this side facing the house. And then for the rest of the 2x2, we're going to build a second set of door A. And then I'll just open this door to go out this side, and these 2 doors to go to the main house. And then we'll just do one more floor for our 2x2. And now hopping out, we're gonna jump up here. And then I'm gonna take the Japanese style pillar, put one on each corner, and then the Japanese fence, and just place one on the outline here. But you can use the wooden fence if you like the look of that better. And then connected to that, we'll take the Japanese flat roof, place that on top of the pillars, and then we'll climb on top of those floors we just made. And we'll use a triangle wall here, facing inwards, and another one here. And then to fill that in, we'll take the slanted roof. We'll break these walls and place that going inwards. And then on the other side, we'll just place some triangle walls to fill that gap in. And then now we'll just fill in the top of this 2x2 with regular flat roofs. We'll use an inverted triangle to fill in these gaps here. And then we'll place a triangle wall at the front and at the back. Finally, take the slanted roof and place them on the left and the right side. And this is what our science lab slash breeding lab should look like. And this is how I decorate my breeding slash science lab. And then at the front here, I'm just gonna place some wooden fences, paint them to match. And so now we'll go over to the other side where we have our powerhouse electricity farm. So we're just going to make a 2x2 with all the same walls. So we're gonna use Japanese style door A, and just place that all the way around, 2 stories tall. We'll open this door for the entrance. And then we'll take the triangle wall. You're gonna place it at the front and the back. then fill that in with our slanted roofs. And then coming to the front here, we're going to take 2 Japanese style pillars, place them right here. And then we're going to take the Japanese style roof B and place it right there so we have a little roofed in walkway bridge. And then we'll take the wooden fence, place one on both sides, and now we'll paint the floor and the fences. So now I'm going to go around and add a fence around this floor. So we'll just go around and place some wooden fences. And then don't forget to paint them. And I'll place some here as well. And then I hate that we don't have diagonal fence pieces, so this one might look a little awkward, but we just make do with what we can. So we'll go with that and then just paint both of those and just don't look too hard at that fence. And so this is what our little village is looking like. And here is the electricity house that we just made with our bridge. Next up we have our greenhouse, which I do have a separate tutorial for the greenhouse that also includes furnishing it and decorating it if you guys are interested in that. Because for this build we're just focusing on the shell of the base and not decorating, because that would be a whole other hour of this video. So to start, we're just gonna fence in this wooden area. We're gonna put a PAL passage entrance right here. And then we're gonna make this 2 stories tall. I'm just gonna start with the regular plain wall just to make things simpler. And then on top of that, at the front and the back, we're gonna use a triangle wall facing inwards. And then a regular wall in between. And then next up, we're gonna use the slanted wall all the way across to fill that in. And then hopping up to the top of the greenhouse, we're gonna take roof A and block this in. And then we're gonna take door A and just cover all of the floors we just made. And then I like the look of opening the doors at the front and the back, and then opening the middle door on both sides. And then we'll hop up one more time, take roof B, and then from the front we'll place 2 walls going towards the middle and do the same thing at the back so that we have 1 gap in the middle. And then with this gap, we'll place a floor, take door A, and make a 1x1. And then to fill it in, we'll take the pyramid roof. So this is what the roof of our greenhouse looks like. We just have to stylize the walls next. And we're gonna be using a technique that we've already done before. So we're gonna be making a bunch of diamonds. So take the triangle wall, place 1 on each side going inwards. We'll place the inverted glass triangle wall, the regular glass triangle wall, and the inverted Japanese triangle wall, so that we have this shape. And then at the back, we're going to take the regular glass wall and replace the wall in the middle here. We'll take the regular Japanese triangle wall, place 1 on each side going inwards, inverted glass triangle, fill the gap, the regular glass triangle at the top, and the inverted Japanese triangle wall. And then in the middle here, so 2 from each side, we'll break this wall, take the Japanese style fence, and we're going to use the window trick with the inverted triangle. So use an inverted triangle and replace that with door A and just open that door. And then we'll do the same thing above. So fence, inverted triangle, door A, open door. And then with these two empty walls, we're gonna make 2 more diamonds. So triangle, triangle, inverted glass, regular glass, and inverted Japanese wall. And then the same thing here at the front. Triangle, triangle, inverted glass triangle, regular glass triangle, and finally fill in the gap with our inverted Japanese triangles. So this is what your greenhouse will look like. And so now all we have left to do is paint. So I'm going to do dark, 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 light, 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 dark, dark, light, light, dark, dark, light, light, dark, dark, light, light. And then as a final touch for a greenhouse, I'm going to use a dark brown. This is the color I'm going to use. I'm going to paint the floor because I feel like it gives it a little bit of a dirt soil look so that it fits the greenhouse better. And the final step, we're going to take the glass wall and just replace these walls on the side here and paint them a dark pink so that you can see the greenhouse as you walk by. But this is our final greenhouse on the inside, all ready for you to decorate. And here's an example of how I decorate my greenhouse with lots of greenery and lanterns. And you guys can check out my other YouTube video if you want a step-by-step on how I did that. Back to the front, our last building to make is our archway. So we're gonna take the regular style wall and then matching up with our stairs here, we're gonna build a wall right here on both sides. So that this will be our open area for our entranceway and it matches up with our stairs. And so we'll just make a 1x1 on each side, 2 stories tall. And I do have a separate tutorial for this on my YouTube channel that goes through how I decorate it. So you might be interested in watching that more. But I'll just finish up this archway in this video in case you just want to stick with one video. So connecting the 2 pillars, we use Japanese style roof A. And then from that 3x1, we're gonna build 1 outwards on both sides. And then I'm just gonna hop up here. I'm gonna fill in the top of these pillars. So this is what the top of your archway should look like. We'll take some slanted roofs, and then on the front and back side, we'll build some slanted roofs, 3 going inwards. And then on this side here, we'll also build the slanted roof going inwards on top of the pillar. And then in these corners, we'll build a triangle roof to fill in the gaps. And then like we did at the top of our house, we're going to use the inverted corner roof and build 1 on each side. Just 2 in each corner. And then the regular triangle roof going inwards in each corner. And now climbing to the top, we're going to fill this with a flat roof. And then we'll take the triangle wall and build 2 on the front and back facing inwards, and then fill in the gap with a regular Japanese wall. Take the slanted roof and put 1 on both sides of the triangle wall. Place a flat roof in the middle, and then to finish it all off, take this style door A and make a 1x1 with a pyramid roof on the very top. And so this is what your archway should be looking like. We're going to customize the walls a little bit. So what we're going to do is we'll break this wall and add 2 triangle pieces, make a square. And then we'll take the Japanese wall, press 4 for replacement, and replace 1 triangle with the wall, and then take the full glass wall and replace the other triangle with the glass wall. And so now when you paint, you're gonna add a tint to your Japanese walls. And so we'll do the same thing on the other side. I'll show you guys that again quickly. Triangle, triangle, window, glass, and paint. And so now you just repeat the same thing on the other side. And then on the top here, we're gonna do the same thing on the 3 outside walls, except this time we're gonna use the door A. So make sure you open the door so that you can replace the other triangle with glass. And then just do that on the outside. And there we go. And then last step in the middle here, we'll take the inverted triangle wall. Just place one connected to both pillars going inwards. And then take the slanted wall and fill in that gap. And so this is a final look of our Japanese archway. And like I said, this is undecorated. And here's an example of how I decorate it with some greenery. I put some cherry blossoms on the inside. And you guys can check out my other YouTube video if you want to see how I decorate that. And so we'll just work on a couple finishing decoration steps. So if we come to this staircase in front of our entrance, take a pillar and put it right there. We're gonna go on top. I'm actually gonna break this fence right here and take a flat roof. And so this is what we have so far, the placement for it. And so I fill this up with plants like this in my base, but I'm gonna skip out on decorating for this video. So we're gonna start off with building a 1x1 and then a pyramid roof on top. And then I'll break this wall first, and then we'll take the wooden fence. And for this decoration, I end up using the wooden fences, the regular wooden fences instead of the Japanese fences. Just like that. And so we'll do the same thing on all sides. Now that we have one wall set up, we can break the rest. So we'll build some fences, some inverted walls, and then we'll just go around and replace all of those inverted walls with door A. And then don't forget to open all of them and paint the fence. And then I forgot to add one more pillar right here so it's not floating. And then just do the same thing on the other side of the stairs. So pillar, break this fence, floor, make a 1x1, pyramid roof, and then we'll break this wall, put a regular fence, an inverted triangle, and door A. And then we'll just break all the other walls, replace it with fences, add our inverted triangle, and then replace all of those with door A. The very last step is just this garden here. So what I do, I use this area on the side as my spa area for my pals. So I build a separate 2x1 out here, and then on the bottom I'm going to make a Japanese style wall but leave the front empty, and I'm going to put a pillar right in the middle, and then we'll use Japanese roof A to fill that up. And then if we hop up to the second floor, to fill this 2x1, I just use door A and fill up that roof. And then we can just hop onto the top and fill the roof with roof B, or if you want some slanted roofs, you can do that as well. And then inside, I just put some spas and some benches. I use this corner here for fountains, and just fill the rest with some trees. And I'll show you guys how to place this building, just because it was the hardest step was placing the expedition station. It's the most annoying building in Palworld to place, and I did it in a little bit of a wonky way. So the only way I could get this to fit in our base was to actually break out these walls here, and then I'm going to take the foundation and just fill in this area because we're gonna hollow out this section of our foundation. I promise it looks weird now, but it won't look weird when we're done. And we'll actually break this in the corner as well. Just make sure before you completely break things that you place some structural support underneath so that your structures on top don't end up breaking. And so now that we have this hollowed out, we have to play with the placement of the expedition station until we find somewhere where it doesn't say it overlaps or that it's outside the base. So this might take a little while, but I think it's really worth it to have the expedition station in one base. Since you get so many valuable materials from it, you don't have to run back and forth to other bases to send your pals on expeditions. So I'm gonna break these trees in the background just in case they're blocking the way, because we want a really big open area. And now we'll just play with the placement a little bit more. And as you can see, we found a spot where it works, so place that. And so now we've placed our expedition station, and it still looks a little wonky. And so what I do is basically just hide everything. So I place a lot of bamboo, I use some cherry blossoms, and this is a good way to get it to blend into your base as well, is just placing a lot of greenery, because you can build on top of the expedition station. And so I just work to cover this as much as possible so that you don't even notice that there's a gap here. You wouldn't even know there was a gap unless you were looking for it. So some bamboo and some bushes are a great way to hide that, and you won't even notice that there's a huge gap here. So here's the expedition station with all our bamboo and cherry blossoms, and you're not really ever looking around this corner, so I think that it hides it pretty well with all the greenery. You can skip this step if you don't want that hollowed out part, but personally I think it's kind of hard to see, so I just like having everything in one base. Here is an example of how I decorated the garden for my base. Alright guys, that concludes the tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed and it wasn't too complicated to follow. Make sure to follow if you guys want to see more tutorials and Palworld content, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!